Hey, this is a 30-minute chill yoga class. It's all based around the wall. You may find a block useful in some of the postures, so if you haven't got a block, try and use something that's similar to this, which can help you through, it's maybe one or two of the postures that you need it for, but mainly we'll be using the wall. What I will say, when you're doing these chill yoga sessions, it's about trying to find the sense of relaxation, so put some music on in the background. I've actually got a couple of playlists on my Spotify which you can use, which are underneath the release and recharge playlists. So if you want to use one of those and stick that in the background, then feel free. So just put your block down to one side for a couple of minutes. You're going to push your back against the wall to start. So we set that intention of having the wall there. Bring the soles of the feet together. And I just want you to really ground into the wall. Now, pushing the shoulders back into the wall, feeling the back of the head into the wall, and if you can, try to shuffle the bum in so you can feel the lower back on the wall as well. And you start to realise what it feels like to have this neutral spine for all of the different vertebrae to be stacked on top of each other. And we'll do a couple of different stretches in this position right here. And take your right hand down towards the right hand side, and I just want you to slide the hand out. So just slide it out, but keeping your back in contact with the floor for the whole time, and also pulling your seat bones down into the floor, especially this opposite side that you're going down to. Come up and slide the hand out towards the other side. Feel the head slide over the wall as well. If you are doing it properly, you should feel a stretch through the side body, through the QL, also through your obliques. Come up and through, inhale, over to exhale. Remember that diaphragmatic breath, bringing the breath down in towards the stomach, activating this vagus nerve and creating the parasympathetic nervous system to bring you into an even greater sense of this rest and digest zone that we want to be in, rather than fight or flight. Keep going from side to side. Over towards this right hand side. Zip up towards the armpit and then come back up. Inhale, exhale over to the opposite side. Right hand towards the armpit. Over towards the right hand side. Up towards the armpit. Exhale over. This time when we go over to the right hand side, we're going to go zip up to the armpit and extend up over the top of the arm. Full extension and then back down again. Reach out with that left hand. As you're sliding the hand over as well on the floor, try and go a little bit further than you did on the previous time that you went over there. Extend over. Good. Feel that stretch to the side. Up and over again. And then back in towards the central point. Take your hands down by the sides, bring the knees up and then push down. Bring them up, push down again. And then we're going to pull up, we're going to push down with our hands. And you can see here, I haven't got my heels all the way in towards my bum at this moment in time, but quite a big gap, so maybe like 2 foot lengths away from my groin. Pushing down. And back up. Inhale, exhale. Try to keep your back against the wall. If you feel yourself shuffling away from the wall, then bring yourself back into this neutral spine position. Push up and through. And slide the feet down. One step back if you're able to. Push down and back up. Ground those feet in. Exhale as you push down. Inhale as the knees rise up. Exhale as you go down. Exhale. One more. Take your right hand onto the back of your right hip. Drop it into the inside of the knee. Now, if you're able to do that, then great. If you can't, don't worry. You can use your hand as an alternative. And all I'm doing here is I'm bringing my right knee up and coming back down. Mobilizing through posterior of the shoulder. Goes deep into the rotator cuff, this one. Inhale and exhale up. That's it. Let this other knee just drop out towards the side. If you want to make a little bit more of a stretch, then you can push down with that opposite hand. Back up towards the top. Left hand onto the left hip. Opposite side, same thing. Inhale, exhale down. Which side feels tighter? Because that's the side you need to try and work on. Both hands come onto the outside of the hip. If you can do this, if you can pull both knees in and create a stretch through both sides, then try that out. If you're unable to do that, then just choose the side which you thought was tighter. Up and down. Come out of this butterfly position and come into a normal cross-leg position, however you feel comfortable. If you need a little bit of a raise, then take that block and stick it underneath your bum, and that'll give you a little bit of a lift to be able to, if you find it really difficult being in a cross-leg position, then it'll give you a bit more room for this next exercise. The next exercise is grabbing your right knee with your right hand, left hand on the right foot, and I want you to pull it up towards you and pull back in towards the wall. Place that leg down, come forwards, pull up, straight up through the spine, back down, back up towards the top, and back down again. Now you've got an option here, you can just go between doing that, or you can try to cradle this leg and pull yourself in towards the wall. You'll get a huge stretch through the glutes. That feels really nice for me. Breathe it out. Place it down, that foot should go to the front. Now swap over. So left foot comes towards the front. Just ease it in again. You're sort of pushing down on this left knee and pulling up with the other side. So you've got these two opposite reactions. Come forward, back up. For 2. For 3. You can stay there if you want to. Cradle that leg again. If you can get both hands round, you can pull up. I've been for a run, so that feels really tight through my glutes at this moment in time. It's nice, really good stretch. These next 2 exercises we're going to do, we're going to be using the block. A really good exercise for loosening off through your SIG, your sacroiliac joint, and another variation of that butterfly position that we did at the start. We'll start with the butterfly because we warmed into that. I'm going to take this block down. If you can, placing your feet on top of the block. I can feel that I'm having to really push myself to get into this position, so don't worry if you have to drop your bum away from the wall a little bit. I'm going to stick mine right in towards the meeting point of the floor and the wall, so I get a little bit more out of it. But we're going to be leaning forwards anyway. So you've got both feet up on the block. If it's too much for you, then just remove the block and come into the normal butterfly position and come onto your feet, or interlink your hands underneath your feet. But I'm going to do this. I'm going to come up and through, hold onto this block, let the knees drop out towards the side, and try and relax down. Now, rather than having a nice straight spine, I want you to try and flex into this position. And channel into the breath to allow you to drop down. All the way towards the floor. Or maybe not all the way towards the floor, just depending on what your range is. I can't get all the way towards the floor with my head. And you create a little bit of a pull with the hands to gain more purchase into the stretch. and raise back up towards the top. Take the legs out towards the front, give them a rest from that position. There's going to be some pretty funky movements in this session that you've maybe not done before, so don't worry if you can't do them. You've got to give it your best shot, but if you're feeling safe at any point, then obviously safety first at all times. This next one, super chill movement. You're coming into in fact I'll lie down on the floor first. Coming into a bridge position. I haven't probably done a bridge position before. You have your heels directly underneath your knees, and you're squeezing and tucking underneath with the bum, lifting up, and then you place this block underneath your back. And what you're trying to find is, you're trying to find these two dimples of Venus right in the top of your hips here, where your lower back joins in towards the hips. And you try and find the meeting point of these two dimples in the centre of the block, and I like it on this medium setting. And that straight away, just for me, feels like a bit of a release, and also a reduction in pressure around the hip joint. If you've got any issues with the SIJ and you've had that in the past, then this could be a really nice movement for you. And you're not suspended in this position. I'm not squeezing and holding in a plank. I'm literally finding these points that I need the block to be in contact with, and I'm letting my body go. And I want you to take your hands onto your stomach, and we'll focus into the breath. And I want you to feel the stomach rise and the stomach fall away. And try and lengthen this breath. Especially the exhale. And try and urge with your body, rather than fighting against relaxing into the block. Try and let the leg go, and that's what the breath will aid you with, is letting go in this position, going deeper into this movement. Or deeper into this posture. There's not really much movement going on. Have music in the background. Just let that turn away one of the tabs that might be open in your head, and then again use the breath to create this focus and concentration. Breathe straight down to the bottom of the stomach. Inflate the belly like a balloon. Couple more breaths here, and we'll go back to the wall. This next one will be working into hamstrings and also your adductors. So squeeze and tuck, lift up. From there, remove the block over to one side. Don't need that anymore. Pull up with the knees, drop down the legs and rock the knees over to one side. Even the shoulders in contact with the floor. Knees over to the opposite side. Pull up the right knee, big squeeze in, and rock to inside to outside. Turn it through in a circle. Extend, grab the other knee, pull in, out to the side, into the middle, through in one circle. And take a rock up towards the top. Now for this next stretch, I want you to bring your right hand side fully into the wall, and that's your grounding point here. And then you're going to bring this left leg out to wherever you can. Now, I can get to about a 90-degree position here, but I'm not expecting you to get there. You work to your own limitations in any of these stretches. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to, your natural response of the body is to come into this central position. And that's just how our body's made, and where it wants to go. Most of the time you don't stand looking to one side. But we're going to challenge that. I'm going to bring our hands over our left leg. And you try to keep this leg in contact with the wall. Don't let it creep in towards the centre. And what you can do is you can bring the hands forward. Try to strategically place them. So one hand maybe behind. You can even push into the wall. And you see me here. I'm using the wall with both hands. I'm turning up the toes and I'm pushing away into the stretch. You might not be able to straighten the arms. Maybe you're just here and you've got your forearms on the wall. And that's fine. But work your way down. Create a little bit more down pressure every single time. Now drop the head for 2 breaths. Sweep round towards the centre. We'll settle into the central position. We'll swap round onto the other leg and then come back to the central position again. And you should feel the stretch through the back of the thighs, through your hamstrings, through the adductors. Settle down into this. Walk the hands back up. We've got one more move in between swapping sides, and it's this. We spend a lot of time on our legs, so it's nice just to turn things upside down a little bit, let the blood move away from the legs back towards the heart, and just allow yourself to rest in this position. Pull your bum right in towards the crease of the wall, where it meets the floor, and have your legs extended up towards the sky, and they just suspend there. There's another posture that I do where you stick the block underneath your bum, and magically your legs just stay up in the sky, depending on where you place the block. Let yourself have a rest here. You take your hands behind your head like I'm doing now. Do what feels natural for you. Slide off towards the left hand side, right when you're facing the wall. You go to the opposite side, so grounding that left leg into the floor, right leg comes out towards the side. Again, bring the hands either side of this front leg. If you want to just lean forwards and push the chest through, feel free. If you need to use the wall, then use the wall. I like to use the wall because it just gives me a little bit more in this stretch. Remember, this left hand side is pinned in towards the wall. Don't let yourself drop in or the heel slide in towards the centre. Well done. Keep it there. This next one's a really nice, chill posture. If you're not used to being upside down, you may feel a little bit apprehensive to go into it, but if you settle into it, the pressure that you create through the body should keep you in the position very effortlessly. Back up towards the top, come out in towards the central position. Forward fold. Let the head just hang now. Resist the temptation to fidget. If you want to fidget, try and take the mind away from it. Listen to the music in the background. Listen to your breath. The breath can divert your attention away from a lot of unpleasant feelings in the body. In any situation, so you start learning through being in these stretches to a deeper level. Because if you try to link into the breath, when you come into a stressful situation in life, then moving towards the breath can become more of an automatic coping mechanism, which allows you to become present rather than catastrophizing or reacting. So breath is really important. Come up towards the top, and here it is. You can look at me before you go into this. Now, I'm going to take, and this depends on your hamstring length, I'm going to take a good step away from the wall. And I'm going to bring my hands on towards the floor. And what you're basically trying to do is you're trying to let your back settle in towards the wall. And you have to walk the feet in so that you have this stretch through the hamstrings. If I had my feet too far out, I would just slide down the wall and I'd have to push myself back up like this. But if you work to your length of your hamstrings, you should be able to just let the body hang. See, I don't even need my arms on the floor here to keep me up, but I'm just going to let them hang. Keep the feet facing forwards towards the wall. If you feel confident, you can close your eyes. Maybe when you first try this, have your partner there or whoever's in the house with you, just to spot you, to make sure you feel comfortable as soon as you find that position. And I'll show you a way how to get out of this as well, rather than having to use upper body strength to press you out. That's a big stretch. You're tight through your calves, tight through your hamstrings, through the whole of the back body. And this will feel quite stressful, but over time it'll get easier. Release the hands to the floor. And what you can do here is you can take your hands, ground in, and then just step back with one leg, step back with the other, and then here presto, you're out of the stretch. Safe. Last one now. We had our feet directly above us before, and we're just going to bring the legs out into the straddle position again, and you're letting gravity pull the legs down into the ground. Again, I mean, I'm not the most flexible through my adductors. I've got a lot better over time. But if you're new to flexibility, then this might be a position that you're not as flexible as me in. So just whatever you're at, accept it and try and relax into the stretch. And as you can see what I did there, and you might not be able to see because you've got your back to me, but I'm maybe walking every now and again, walking my heels down the wall, If you want to create a more intense stretch through the inner groin, settle back into this again. Always using the nose to inhale and exhale. Got one more stretch to do now. Soles of the feet together. Very similar to the stretch we did at the start, but we're doing it rather than having our back on the wall and our feet on the floor, we're doing feet on the wall, back on the floor. And you can push the knees away. Every exhale, pushing the knees away. And giving yourself this time to take a step back. Give the body a little bit of mobilization. Move it into places maybe you haven't explored during the day. And it'll appreciate that after the session. Extend the legs up above you. Hold there for a few more breaths if you want to stay in this position. And stay in this position for a little bit longer. But I'm going to end the session here, and you can decide when you want to come down. Maybe you want to just listen to the music, give yourself a few more moments here.